So hello, my name is Samuel THUO, and I'm coming to you from our home. Actually, my son is taking this video. I want to take you through an idea that I'm feeling that at this time, as you're going through an epidemic, that really it can help us pull through or maybe do something about this instead of just staying on the sidelines to watch. So I'm calling this the THUO food model. I'll explain to you what the model is all about. But my request to you is that you lend me your 10 minutes or so. You listen to what I have to say, and maybe by the time you are done, you can come up with a good input so that we can make this model workable or not. So what are we going to discuss? One, who am I? So my name, like I said, is Samuel THUO. Other than my name, I'm also a graduate of Moi University. I did my undergraduate in cultural studies, and I also did my master's in anthropology. So when I talk about anthropology, I don't want to go into details about what it's all about. But the simplest way I can put it is a doctor heals individuals, anthropologists heal societies. So, like you have seen in this age of the COVID-19, what is being attacked is a society. You are being told to self-isolate. You are being told to keep off, to stay at home, and that is basically the opposite of what anthropology is. So, I believe that the anthropologists out there, this is our time for us to stand so that we can really try and find ways into which our societies are not going to die per se. So that is who I am. So I'm a graduate, and I believe that by the little knowledge that I've gotten from the university or even through life, today I do research. I've done a number of research, and I believe that this research is workable and it's our time to do something. So that is who I am. So what is the THUO food model? The THUO food model is a way in which we are going to ensure that even as we self-isolate, even God forbid if we are to go into a lockdown, then we find a way into which we can survive. Remember, our people are jobless, our people are hungry. How do we disentangle ourselves from these weaknesses to ensure that even if we go into an isolation, even if we go into a lockdown, then our people are not going to die of hunger? So that is the THUO food model. Remember, we are going to do this. That's why I have put Kiambu. I am a resident of Kiambu. If you are going to effect this, then we need to work with the county governments, and also the national governments will come to enforce what we have tried to put up. So I'm not going to go into details about what the coronavirus is all about. We have all been watching TV. I think that's most of us, that's what we have been doing. As we are being told to stay at home, the one thing that you have been doing, you have been watching videos, you have been watching the TV, and by now you know what the coronavirus is all about. Like I've explained, it is attacking our social well-being, and that's why we need to find a model that can work with Africa. Remember, we have seen a number of case studies. We have seen China, we have seen Italy, we have seen Spain, we have seen the United States, how they are trying to fight this scourge. And you can see they are even suffering, they themselves, even with the infrastructure that they have, even with the sound medical ministry that is working, they are still suffering. So what happens to Kenya when it comes to that area? So we are also dealing with the case studies. Again, we have some models that we can borrow. They are not like they are using the THUO food model, but there are some things that they are doing that we can implement into this model to show that it can really work. So we have Belarus and Singapore that I'm not going to go too much into details of. So if I'm to go strictly into the county of Kiambu, right now the flower farms are not at work. Right now, the public universities have closed. The secondary schools and the primary schools have closed. The research institutes, some of them might be working, but I'm sure even some greenhouses are working. But why have I picked on this is because we can use this resource that is lying idle to ensure that we have a food model that can help us not just pull through in today's scourge, this epidemic, but something that can work even in future to help our food security issue. We have, as a country, we have suffered in that area of food security, and I believe if you are to implement this, or if you are to better what I've come up with, then we'll have a better way out. So that's also the also good thing with the areas that I've picked on the 5 is because they are well fenced, and maybe not all of them, but most of them have an infrastructure that is secluded from the public, and that will be, as we continue, that will be very important. So why are we doing this? I talked about case studies. If we look at these 4 countries, what they have really zeroed in on are the number of the people who are infected and how they are isolating them and treating them. I've used this as an example here. So let's call this our isolation of the people who are infected with the coronavirus. Our country, as it is, with our infrastructure, at the moment, we have been able to deal with this area here. Remember, there are people who came from outside and we have quarantined them, and right now as we speak, I think the tests are about to be done. So we have been able to deal with this. But as an anthropologist, I'll tell you that the main problem that Kenya is facing, or where we are heading, is not these people who are inside this cluster, but it's the people who are outside. I think you have heard on in the news some people talking of, am I going to stay home? What will my children eat? Should I die of hunger, or should I die of the coronavirus? So these are the people that we are looking at. I know the national government has a strategy to feed us if we are to go into a lockdown. But the problem with the virus is that we don't know how long this one will go. If, God forbid, we go into a lockdown for around 3 months, because we have seen with China, how will we feed our people for that long? If we can implement this early enough, then I do believe that we will have enough food security for our people, and like I said, not just for the 3 months, but even for years to come. So I'm urging the county governments, I think if you are watching this, ensure that this one heads to the office of the county governor. We have our governor in Kiambu. You have your own governor, you know him. If you cannot reach him, then reach somebody in his office and ask them to watch this and see what they can do in their end. Because it's not our time to just sit and watch. This is not a movie. This is part of our lives. So if you can take, like, for example, for Kiambu, I know we have so many flower farms. We can start growing food there. Start growing sukuma wiki, start growing nyanyas, start growing carrots, things that can keep our society moving. In my home here, our staple food is ugali. We also have, we eat ugali with sukuma wiki. We also have rice. I can add in other areas, let's say like the lake region, we have fish. Yes? We have so many other things that we can work on. We can start producing this in mass so that we can redistribute it if need be. So we have the flower farms in here in Kiambu. The public universities, we are talking of something like KU. We have KU, we have Mangu University, we have MKU, we have JKU Art. We have so many of these that can really work for us at this hour, because we are really running short of time as we tackle that. The public universities, I will not deliver the point, but they are there, we know them. The research institute, I don't know about Kemri, but we have areas whereby we can really pull our resources into the national government and the county government. Pull the resources that you have at the moment to produce more food. We can instill greenhouses into them, whereby we can produce good food. We know sukuma wiki in around 4 weeks, it will be ready to take to the market. If it's for maize, because somebody will ask now, maize goes for 8 months, what do we do? Remember, don't forget, we have even the locusts that were being anticipated that around this time is when they'll start coming out. So it's about time the county government take over the farms that have been producing the maize. You can even lease, you can even talk to the owners and do a partnership. the county government, and the individuals. I'm not asking you to buy the lands, but people have already planted maize. Work to ensure that this maize comes to full production, because if we are to eat ugali for the next 3 months, then our national reserves are not the only ones that we are going to depend on. We are going to depend on the new crop. Finally, allow me to do a SWOT analysis of the THUO food model. What are our strengths? The strength is, like I said, we are going to have a long-term food security. We are not going to depend on the outside world any longer. Remember, and somebody said this, right now this epidemic is facing the whole world. Everybody is fighting this war to defend their own people. If we find ourselves dying of hunger, who will come to our aid? The US right now is suffering. China is recovering. But do they have resources to give to us? It's about time that we looked after ourselves, like the same way they are doing for themselves. So we are also going to offer employment. Remember, if these farms, if these institutions are going to be taken over by the county government at this period, then our people are not just going to stay at home. They are going to go and work in this area. So we are going to provide employment for them, where we are going even to feed them. Somebody will decide, instead of me staying at home, let me go and work and have something to eat for me and my family. Then overall, we are going to have to ensure that we survive, not just us, but even the world at large, because if this model can be replicated everywhere, even in the United States, even in China, they can implement such a model to ensure that their people survive. So the weakness is that our infrastructure, sorry to put it like this, but in Kenya, even some of the public universities, you'll find that they are not well fenced. Where I schooled, there were issues. You can see there are panya routes. So those ones can really hamper this idea. Then again, coordination. We find that sometimes that we do not coordinate ourselves and our programs well. There are so many programs that have started in Kenya. The Gara, was it called the Gara or the Gara? The maize production model they had, without good coordination, then that's an area where we might suffer. And then again, we are in a race against time. Please, you can see how fast this thing is spreading. Let's ensure that if you are to make this work, then it needs to be implemented as soon as possible. The opportunities, we are providing employment to our people, and then we are also giving our chance to have a long-term food solution. So that's an opportunity that we are creating. The threats,